Hey, Husker Nation, how's it going? Welcome to another video from Just Two Dudes. My name's Louie.
My name's Seth.
I'm the dad.
And I'm the son.
Alright, what a big win from the Big Red the other day. Came out, smacked him in the teeth.
Yeah.
Got off to a great start. Never looked back. As somebody predicted, wouldn't even be close. Washington outmatched.
Someone else did not predict, but
Yeah.
it's either here nor there.
But that's all good. Just happy to see a great overall win from Nebraska. And of course, what we try and do every week is we just try and give you some of our observations and opinions from the game.
Absolutely.
I'll start off by saying that I was kind of surprised at what a bad rap Jared Crick and Baker Steinkuhler are taking for the game because they didn't have a sack.
Yeah, weren't disruptive forces.
Yeah. And my take on that is anytime the quarterback completes 20% of his passes, the interior of your defensive line is more than doing their job.
Absolutely. And not to mention that, they were also getting held every pass attempt.
Oh my gosh, it was one of the worst I've seen.
And yeah, that the officiating was that was just bad.
If the officials can see a Nebraska guard having hands to the face, I saw Crick and Steinkuhler and Pierre Allen pick up their helmet at least 5 or 6 times.
They got called once.
If they're paying that close of attention, why aren't we getting more calls?
Absolutely.
I'm just baffled by that. It seems like they see everything we do, and we just can't get any penalties in return.
Even going back to last year.
Yeah, my prediction. One of the predictions I had for last week's game was I really thought Jared Crick would have a massive game, kind of like the Baylor game, to introduce himself to fans across the country. That was my prediction. His prediction was?
My prediction was that Brandon Kinney was going to have a huge breakout game, and it happened that he did have one. He caught a couple really nice balls, did some things after the catch, made some key catches on third downs too when we needed a wide receiver to make a wide receiver play.
Yes.
He made it for us, and that was very nice to see his emergence as a true wide receiver.
That guy runs routes.
Yes.
I mean, it's so nice to see.
Unlike the guy on the other side of the field.
Yeah. No.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah. Another thing that I saw that really surprised me is we've been seeing Roy Halu Jr. now for 4 years, and in 2 games, he's had 2 breakaway touchdowns where he took them both to the house. Don't really know where that comes from. He's usually getting knocked out at 10, 15.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, and and that's against the Louisiana Techs and those types of schools.
He's always been like that.
Yeah, and it seems like this year he just...
Whatever it was,
to the house.
it's working.
I think I know one reason why. His carries are so limited, he's incredibly fresh.
He's fresh.
He's fresh, so he's... Roy looks so good, I couldn't be happier.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing I noticed, and I think other people from ESPN to some internet sites, everybody's taking notice about our secondary.
Yeah, I really think it is the best secondary in the country. There's might be some better players as far as people like individually in the secondary. I don't know if there's a secondary that works better as a unit than ours. Every single one of them just makes play after play, covering the guy to where the quarterback literally has the tightest window to throw, and then they have the ability to break on balls, and they're just playing so good right now as a collective secondary. No team on our whole schedule will be able to pass on us. I really don't think that.
You're always going to have 1 or 2 games a year where things just aren't perfect. You always have that. On paper,
I honestly don't think that's going to happen with
But one thing I'm seeing is Prince, Denard, and Eric Hagg, they seem to be out there running routes.
Oh, yeah. For the receiver.
With the receivers. Absolutely. And they're making some incredible plays on the ball. Just really mind-boggling what they've been able to do.
The other thing is not that they're just making plays on the ball. They're making the play on the ball and then taking the ball to the house.
Yes.
That's something that's very important as far as a secondary. Because, like we've said many times, good teams get the turnovers.
Right.
Great teams finish the turnovers off, whether that's just a guy making a great return, blocks down the field. The great teams just find a way to get that ball in the end zone from the defensive side.
And where that comes from is these guys aren't just satisfied with knowing what route the wide receiver is going to run. They're through film study and preparation and coaching. They can see the routes coming, I think, before the wide receiver runs them. Yeah. Not only do they expect to intercept the ball, but when they intercept the ball, it's almost like that's only part of it.
Yeah.
It's the second part in a 3 or 4 part series because our guys are making interceptions while they're on a dead sprint.
Yeah.
To where they know they're going to catch the ball and they expect to do something with it. Not like last year where they were just happy to get an interception and get a 10-yard return.
Right.
We're actually taking it back this
year. Absolutely.
Taylor Martinez.
I'll be honest here. I thought even with all the things we heard about him coming from Bo and from Watts, I really thought Taylor Martinez was going to struggle. I thought he'd struggle in the passing game, which he did at a few moments, but not anything alarming or any huge mistakes. Just took a couple sacks where he might have been able to get out of the pocket and get some yards with his feet. But I did not think he was going to have that great of a game.
On the road, first start away from a Memorial Stadium, a super loud place. You guys saw it on TV. You saw the screen shaking. You heard the noise. Absolutely. That kid just stepped up and did his thing. He wasn't fazed at all. Yeah. So impressed by him.
He really played an amazing game for a freshman making his first road start. 4 total touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 1 in the air. He had a great game.
Yep. And just so impressed by him.
I hope it continues throughout the year.
Another thing that I saw, which I've been waiting to see, and kind of surprised it hadn't happened earlier, but Levante David really looked confused.
He did.
He was out of place constantly. He was a step or two too slow when he was in the right place. Thankfully, he looked how I thought maybe Taylor Martinez was going to look. Yeah. But he's got people on his side that can kind of cover for him a little bit. He's the one that really showed this is my first major college football start on the road, and he's the one that looked affected.
He got sucked in a couple times behind the D tackles, lost his gap responsibility a few times. I think there were sometimes he was trying to force a play, and as a linebacker, you really got to let the play come to you and then just make sure it doesn't go past you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's something that he kind of struggled with, especially in the start.
Yes.
And hopefully that gets fixed because we're going to need him to be a big player in our run defense later on.
Right. Mike McNeil.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah, that was actually a pretty decent catch. It was throwing a touch behind him, but him diving into the end zone and
showing that he wanted to make a play.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that out of Mike McNeil, especially not last year. A little bit when Joe Gans was here playing quarterback, but that was shocking to me to see it, honestly.
I mean, he had such a good game. He was one of the few people that was able to tackle Taylor Martinez.
Yeah.
Which they harassed him for on the sideline. I thought that was pretty funny. Another thing. We heard a lot about Jake Locker.
Absolutely.
And I'll go back to it. Michael Severe all week long on unsportsmanlike conduct with Kevin Kugler. He just kept saying it. Caller after caller after caller would call in and say, what are we going to do about Jake Locker and Jake Locker? And he just constantly said it over and over and over again. I'm not impressed by this guy. I don't get the hype. I don't get the NFL projection on this kid. I have seen nothing out of him to where it merits all this. And I think Jake Locker is a pretty good quarterback, but he did not worry me at all. I thought he might be able to make some plays, but
he really didn't. And I think maybe that's just how good our secondary is. But I think there's also a lot of that was Jake Locker. And everybody's talking about him being the number 1 quarterback and everything like that. And even being a Heisman candidate, that's just over as of now.
Oh yeah. No chance of the Heisman.
Honestly, this is a little off topic, but I think the best quarterback I've seen so far, going from last year to this year, Ryan Mallett at Arkansas. I mean, this next
I told
week,
you that last year. That was the best arm in college football.
This next week he's going up against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That might be his chance, as Locker had a chance on a great defense. Look out for Mallet next
I don't know
week.
if
I know
Ryan
that's on
Mallett's
topic,
the best
but look out.
quarterback, but I think he's the best arm in college football this year and was last year.
He is something to watch.
Jake, but you know, one thing that just kind of came to me about Jake Locker is this is what we used to do in our heyday to all quarterbacks.
Oh yeah.
They were afraid of us before the kickoff.
Yeah.
And you know, Jake Locker's a big guy, and if we're getting into people like Jake Locker's head to where he comes out and his first pass of the game should have never been thrown, don't know even what the kid was thinking. Maybe he was just scared.
He might have
And
been.
if we're getting that kind of mentality back to where people are afraid of us before the kickoff even starts,
We've played four pretty highly hyped quarterbacks in our last couple of games, even going back to last year, from McCoy at Texas, Foles at Arizona, and Enderley. I don't know what the hype is around him, but he has hype around him, and now Locker, and we've handled them all very well.
Yes.
So maybe we are back to something like that.
Cody Green.
Speaking of quarterbacks,
You know, his first fumble is kind of no shocker there, but I actually was sad when I saw him the second time fumble. He's better than that.
He is better than that.
I've said from very early on, if you've watched our videos, Cody Green's never going to start here at Nebraska.
Yeah.
He doesn't have it. The first time, if you guys follow football more in Nebraska, the first time you saw Vince Young, you knew he had it. The first time you saw Colt McCoy, you knew he was special. The first time you saw Sam Bradford, you knew he was good. The first time you saw Eric Crouch. That's all you need to see. If this kid is going to be like Terrell Pryor, okay, you can see it. You can see it immediately. They either have it or they don't.
And
this
never
kid
really had
doesn't have it. He's never gonna get it.
And I don't dislike him as a kid.
This is just a fan. This is just a fan's perspective. And Cody, you know, I
honestly think. I mean, sorry to cut you off, but I think Bo is a very good football coach. I think that was one of the dumbest things he has ever done. On the road, Taylor Martinez was rolling. I think the score was 21 to 6. Was that what it was? Or 21 to 7? And then he takes Taylor Martinez out after he's rolling.
Yes.
And then Cody Green does that. Then they score
because Taylor Martinez is going to take us down the field. It's going to be 28-7.
Absolutely. And then one of the very next times,
crowd's quiet.
One of the very next times, T-Mart takes it 80 yards.
Yeah. Easily the worst decision Bo Pelini's ever made. When we saw Cody coming into the game, we were upset. Where are we at? Sorry?
13 minutes.
Okay. Just a couple more things to talk about here. Sorry, guys. We'll do this down here. Why don't you go ahead with that one?
I really think that this game was one of the most complete wins we've ever had under Bo Pelini. Everything was clicking outside of the run defense, but I don't want to get into the run defense right now. I'll save that for the next video. But I really think offensively, 3 100-yard rushers, wide receivers making plays, defense making plays. That was the best game I've seen a Bo Pelini team play since he's been here.
I agree. Hey, the next video we're going to do is going to be a little more interactive, and really want you to check that out. So thanks for checking this video out, and we'll see you.
See you guys.